He was 2 sets down. Djokovic was destroying him, and every number in tennis history said it was over. Djokovic had won 289 of 290 Grand Slam matches when leading 2 sets to love. A 19-year-old kid from Rio de Janeiro, who was playing his first match on court, Philippe Chatrier, just looked across the net at the greatest player of all time and didn't blink. So how does a teenager who admitted he didn't even believe he could win go on to beat Novak Djokovic in 5 sets? And is this the moment we look back on as the start of Brazil's next Grand Slam champion, Court Philippe Chatrier, Roland Garros, May 30th, 2026. The Paris sun has dropped behind the stadium walls and the floodlights are blazing white over the red clay. 15,000 people are packed into every seat, and the noise is something you feel in your chest before you hear it with your ears. Green and yellow flags are everywhere. Brazilian fans have taken over this corner of Paris, and right now they are watching their 19-year-old hero get taken apart by the greatest tennis player who has ever lived. The scoreboard says 4-6, 4-6, 2 sets to Djokovic. The match is almost gone. Joao Fonseca stands at the baseline, bouncing on his toes, racket swinging loose at his side. He is serving at 3-4 in the 3rd set, 15-40 down. 2 points from the exit, 2 points from going home. Djokovic, 39 years old and still moving like he is 22, waits on the other side of the net with that cold, unreadable face. The stadium goes quiet, that specific Roland Garros quiet, where 15,000 people hold their breath at exactly the same second. Fonseca tosses the ball. The serve cracks off his racket and lands clean. He doesn't wait to see what happens. He moves forward, takes the next ball early, and drives a forehand winner down the line so fast that Djokovic barely turns his head. The crowd erupts. 1 point saved, then another. Fonseca holds the game. Something has shifted. From that moment, he becomes a different player. He starts swinging for lines nobody dares aim for. The forehand, that massive rolling forehand that first turned heads in Rio 2 years ago, starts finding corners. Across the 3rd, 4th, and 5th sets combined, he hits 30 forehand winners. 30. The flags wave harder with everyone. 4 hours and 53 minutes after the first ball was struck, Fonseca stands at 5-5 in the 5th set and earns the break. He serves for the match. Djokovic earns a break point right back. The crowd stands. Fonseca bounces twice, tosses the ball, and serves an ace. Then another, then a third, straight down the middle. Match over, 4-6, 4-6, 6-3, 7-5, 7-5. Djokovic had won 289 of 290 Grand Slam matches when leading 2 sets to love. This teenager just found the one way through. He walked to the net and Djokovic pulled him close, looked him in the eye, and said one word in Portuguese: "Parabéns, congratulations." The man with 24 Grand Slam titles was saluting a kid from Ipanema, but to understand how this moment was always coming, you have to go back to a 4-year-old boy with a racket he could barely hold. Ipanema, Rio de Janeiro, one of the most beautiful neighborhoods on earth. The beach runs for miles, the mountains sit behind it, and the streets smell like salt and rain and food cooking in open doorways. This is where Joao Fonseca grew up, and this is where, at 4 years old, he first picked up a tennis racket. He almost never did. Like almost every kid in Brazil, he started with football. He loved it. Then a childhood injury pushed him away from the sport, and his parents pointed him toward the Rio de Janeiro Country Club, right next to their home in Ipanema. He walked in, picked up a racket, and never really put it down again. His father, Cristiano, co-founded Brazil's first independent hedge fund. His mother, Roberta, played on Rio's junior volleyball team in the early 1980s and never stopped competing. This was a family that understood what it meant to work for something. Neither of them had a tennis background, but they understood one thing clearly. Their son had something special, and they were going to find out how far it could go. Inside their home, Cristiano would set up a makeshift net and play with João. He would get to 9-3 in the game and then pretend to fall apart, letting the score creep back, manufacturing a 9-9 tiebreak just to teach his son what it felt like to fight for the last point. He was building a competitor, not just a player. And when João was 11 years old, Roberta started packing a suitcase and traveling with him to junior tournaments around the world. She never stopped doing that either. By 17, Fonseca was the youngest challenger champion of the entire 2024 season. He had committed to play college tennis at the University of Virginia, then walked away from that plan entirely and bet everything on the professional tour. In September 2023, he won the US Open Junior Boys Singles title, the first Brazilian to do so in nearly 30 years, and finished the year as the world's top-ranked junior. Then he went to Rio in 2024 and beat 7th-seeded Arthur Fils in straight sets, giving away only 4 games, becoming the first South American to take an opening set 6-0 against a top 50 opponent before turning 18 since ATP rankings began in 1973. His ranking had been 655th. It would not stay there long. The city had been waiting 25 years for a player like this, and the player had been waiting his whole life for courts this big. Before we get to what happened in Paris, I want to know something from you, because this is the part of Fonseca's story most people skipped right over. Drop a comment below. Did you know who Joao Fonseca was before Roland Garros 2026? Because the people who were watching saw this coming from a long way away. Melbourne, Australia, January 2025, the Australian Open, the biggest hardcourt stage in the world. Fonseca walks onto the court for his first ever Grand Slam main draw match, having come through qualifying, and his first round opponent is Andrei Rublev, the 9th seed, one of the most powerful ball strikers on tour. Nobody outside of Brazil gives the teenager a real chance. Rublev is ranked inside the top 10. Fonseca is barely inside the top 100. The match plays out and Fonseca wins it cleanly. The tennis world's eyebrows shoot up. Then he loses in round 2 to Lorenzo Sonego, and everyone files it under lucky one-off and moves on. They were wrong to do that. February 2025, Buenos Aires, the Argentina Open, clay court, a hostile crowd packed with Argentine fans roaring for their local hero, Francisco Cerundolo, in the final. Fonseca is 18 years old, far from home, and the whole stadium is against him. He doesn't flinch. He hits through Cerundolo in straight sets and lifts his first ATP title, becoming the youngest Brazilian to win an ATP title in the Open era and the youngest South American champion on tour. Then October, Basel, Switzerland. The Swiss indoors an ATP 500 event on indoor hard courts, a surface Fonseca had barely played. He defeats defending champion Giovanni Umpechi Pericard in round 1. Then world number 23, Denis Shapovalov in the quarterfinals. Then world number 42, Jaume Munar in the semifinals. Then Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, ranked 18th in the world, in the final. He wins it without dropping a single set across the week. He becomes the first Brazilian singles player to win an ATP 500 since the tournament designation was created in 2009, and only the second youngest player ever to lift a title at that level, behind Carlos Alcaraz. After the trophy presentation, standing on court with his family watching from the stands, he says it quietly into the microphone. Since he was 11 years old, his mother had traveled everywhere with him. That title was for her. His coach, Guilherme Teixeira, had met him at the Rio de Janeiro Country Club when Fonseca was 12 years old. They have worked together every day since. Fonseca calls him his second father, one of his best friends. When the match was over and the noise finally settled, someone asked Fonseca the simplest question. Did you believe you could win from 2 sets down? He looked straight at the camera and said no. He actually didn't believe it. He was not standing on that court running on confidence. He was running on something harder than that. He was staying in every single point because that was the only thing left to do. And he did it for 4 hours and 53 minutes until there was nothing left for Djokovic to hold on to. That honesty is the whole story. After Djokovic, Fonseca walked back out onto Philippe Chatrier 4 days later and beat Casper Ruud in 4 sets to reach his first ever Grand Slam quarterfinal, the deepest run by a Brazilian man at a major since Thomas Bellucci in 2010. The green and yellow flags came back out. The crowd sang. Rio de Janeiro watched from thousands of miles away and felt something it had not felt in a very long time. In the quarterfinal, Jakub Menchik stopped him 6-4, 6-3, 7-6. The run was over, but nobody in Paris and nobody watching around the world will remember Roland Garros 2026 as the tournament Fonseca lost a quarterfinal. The numbers underneath that moment are almost hard to believe. 2 years before Paris, Fonseca was ranked 730th in the world. By the end of 2025, he was inside the top 25. His career prize money has already passed $3.9 million. He turned down IMG. He turned down Team 8, the agency co-founded by Roger Federer himself. He and his parents manage everything, the way they always have, the way it started in a living room in Ipanema, with a makeshift net and a father who stretched every game to 9-9 just to teach his son how to fight. He signed with Federer's shoe brand On. He joined Alcaraz and Sinner on the Rolex roster. But the people making the decisions are still Cristiano and Roberta, sitting courtside the same way they did when he was 11 years old and just starting to travel. Brazil had been waiting 25 years for this. Gustavo Kuerten won his third Roland Garros in 2001, and then the country waited and waited and watched and nothing came. Now, something has come, and it is 19 years old and hits 30 forehand winners in 3 sets against the greatest of all time and closes the match with 3 aces in a row. Here's what I need you to weigh in on below, because this is the debate that is going to define the next decade of men's tennis. Wimbledon 2026 starts in 2 weeks. Sinner is the world number 1. Alcaraz is back from injury, and Joao Fonseca just proved in Paris that he can win 5 sets against the greatest the sport has ever seen. So the question is simple: is Fonseca winning a Grand Slam before he turns 21? Drop your answer below, because I think this comment section is about to get very loud.